Hi, I'm Ray McAllister from Boomer Magazine. We're here today with Gene Cox, erstwhile Channel 12 anchor who retired a year ago and now is starting up with Channel 8. So, Gene, retirement, what happened?
I didn't like it.
Well, tell us how you left Channel 12 and what your plans were at that point.
Well, the bottom line, I was not given the option of retiring and not retiring on the anchor desk. I was told to leave the anchor desk.
Right.
So I did.
Mm-hmm.
And then we talked about other things I could do to stay connected to Channel 12, a number of chores.
Mm-hmm.
And I did a couple of things, and it just kind of died out. Nothing really happened. And so I kept prodding them, say, hello, I'm here, let's do something. And it just didn't really work. Mm-hmm. So the day came and I said, okay, I'm not here anymore. I'm going to go in another direction, I told them. And they kind of said, oh, okay, good luck. And
didn't say, wait a minute, let's talk, or anything like that?
Well, they said a couple of times, wait a minute, let's talk. And we talked, but we didn't say anything. And so I said, the last conversation I had with management, I looked across the table and I said, this is the same conversation we had 6 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And nothing has happened. And it was just pleasantries. We're still friends.
Mm-hmm.
We're just...
Now, what was that all about? You were the co-anchor on, the top news program in the area by far.
For 33 years, yeah.
Right, by far. I mean, you were not a novice, number one, and you were not failing, number two.
Oh, no, we were way out in front.
Okay.
I don't know whose decision it was.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why they made the decision. They would have to answer that.
Mm-hmm.
I speculate, I guess. You know, I was certainly old enough to retire.
Right.
And it made, from a management point of view, if I'm not sure I wouldn't have done the same thing. I would have said, hey, this guy is getting up there. We're way out in front. We can replace him with somebody already on staff.
Somebody working cheaper, right?
I didn't say that. And he will fade away, and we'll still be number one. And they're right. They are still number one. Way out in front.
Mm-hmm. Well, let me ask you about the year in the interim. Fortunately, you've been writing for us. Let's say that. That's been a great plus for us.
You don't pay very much. You know?
Well, I'm sorry. You can get out and sell some ads, and then you'll boost your pay.
Well, we have in television a no-compete.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It's standard in the industry. After I left July 31st, 2011, I could not appear on television or radio anywhere within a 75-mile radius.
Mm-hmm. For how long?
For a year.
Right.
So I couldn't work.
Mm-hmm.
And that gives you a lot of time to sit around and think
and
tweet and write stupid stuff and mow the grass.
No, your tweets are beloved by young people. I mean, there are a lot of young people.
Mostly young people.
Right.
You know, if you can get the attention of young people, you're still relevant.
Mm-hmm. Well, you do it.
And I'm flattered that I know they're young because when I look at their tweets and they're talking about who they're going to the prom with.
Okay.
So why are these people listening to me? But I'm glad they are.
Do you all go out on dates for prom night or anything
No,
like that?
No,
it hasn't gotten that far.
It's been a while.
Well, so did you do any of the fishing, golfing, painting the house?
I don't fish. I don't golf. I have painted a house. I don't like it.
I don't blame you.
There's been a lot of time where I'm just sitting around and look and say, what am I going to do?
Right.
You know,
well, there are people who work toward retirement. That's their goal, retirement.
A lot of people live for the day when they can retire.
Right.
I suspect for the most part they're people who hate their jobs.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't hate my job.
That's not you.
No.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like when Mike Wallace was leaving or asked to leave or whatever, and he said, what am I going to do? That's all I've ever done. Well, you know, 33 years in Richmond, but I was in Baltimore for 8 years.
Right.
And before that, radio. So for me, it was 43 years in broadcasting. What am I going to do? I don't play golf. I don't play bingo. And I don't do anything very well that I don't want to do.
Well,
that
that's
didn't
true.
sound good.
No, that's true. Most of us.
Yeah, right.
So you did do a little Me TV. I know that.
I did. That was one of the things they asked me to do, and I said,
Right.
sure, be glad to. And they brought up a number of other things.
Mm-hmm.
And I did a couple of reports, 3 or 4 reports, which I enjoyed doing, but I couldn't get that moving. The last one I did, it took me a week to get them to run it, to put it on the air.
Mm-hmm.
And I just felt kind of in the way.
Right. Okay. So you were out of sight, out of mind to them.
I think pretty much so.
Mm-hmm.
I think pretty much so. And, it's hard for any of us to see ourselves as we really are.
Mm-hmm.
And there's only one way to judge it, in my opinion, and that's how other people respond to you.
Mm-hmm.
If you could sit around and look at the mirror and say, I'm wonderful, but if nobody is paying
It's
attention to
following your lead,
you,
right.
You're whistling Dixie. You're not wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
And the body language I got at the TV station was, oh, hi. Okay, maybe next week. Oh, I'll call you about that. And the call never came. And I'd send emails, and they weren't answered.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, duh, I'm not that dumb.
Right. Right.
So,
Well, but other people wanted you.
yeah, apparently so.
So tell me about that. How did that
Well,
whole thing come together?
after 6 or 8 months, I sent out a couple of feelers. I did talk to Channel 6, had very good conversations with them, and talked to Channel 8,
Mm-hmm.
and I looked at the options, and Channel 8, I felt, was a better fit. They were more forthcoming. They were more excited.
Mm-hmm.
They appeared to really want me. We all want to be wanted, Ray.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And they appeared to want me.
Excellent.
And so I met with them a couple of times, and I really liked what I saw.
Mm-hmm.
And no, they're well off the
The ratings chart. Right.
Yeah, right. But I think the potential is there. I think I think they've got good people. They've got good facilities. I think we can move a little bit.
Mm-hmm. So it wasn't just the Starbucks, the nearby Starbucks.
That had something to do with it,
That was the clincher.
Yeah.
They said, oh, by the way, Gene, there's a Starbucks right here.
Well, I knew where the Starbucks was. At the time, I didn't know where Channel 8 was.
Mm-hmm.
But I knew it was close
right.
by. And
Mm-hmm.
that was very influential in my decision.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Well, tell us what you'll be doing.
I'll be co-anchoring the 5:30 news with Amy Lacey.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a guest anchor thing.
I'm not familiar with the term.
I wasn't either. It means that I'm going to go in there and see how I do, see how they like it, see how I like it, and see if it works.
Mm-hmm.
And if it works, we'll hang around a while. If it doesn't work,
Either one of you can walk away.
either one of us can walk away.
Mm-hmm.
It's a gentleman's agreement, and I like it because nobody's tied down to anything.
Mm-hmm.
If it doesn't work, they don't want me there, and I don't want to be there.
Mm-hmm. Now, I know you're excited about a young, energetic staff
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and about telling the news in a different way.
I would like to.
Talk to us about that. What are your thoughts?
There's so much of it that's inane, and I
Mhm.
guess they all do it.
Mm-hmm.
This morning, I was watching a reporter on television, a local reporter, standing up at a gas station telling me what the cost of gas was. Well, I know what the cost of
Mhm.
gas is. You can't drive down the street without knowing what the cost of
Mhm.
gas is. Why do they put a remote truck out and a photographer and a reporter out at the gas station? The price of gas is $3 whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That's stupid.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of stupid stuff. They read the stories about this shooting or that shooting, and all the shootings kind of run together to me.
Right. Sure.
Some of them are special, but most of them
Mhm.
kind of run. And they end the story by saying, police are still investigating. And I'm saying to myself, well, duh. The news would be if the police don't investigate.
Right.
It's just the way it's written.
Mhm.
I would like to have a hand in it.
And you've written how many books now?
I don't know, 4 or 5, something like that.
Well, you've written books, so obviously
I haven't had my bestseller yet. I mean, I had my bestseller,
I was gonna
but it
say,
wasn't a
you
bestseller.
certainly have had
Yeah.
your best. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, good. But you are concerned with the language.
Yeah.
And
Uh-huh.
And also I don't want to say necessarily decline of news reporting. Everybody's working with smaller budgets and fewer people and doing the best they can. However, there's room for improvement always.
Yeah, if there's a desire for improvement.
Mm-hmm.
But identifying what improvement is the issue.
Mm-hmm.
More bells and whistles and graphics and flash and trash and burning houses and overturned cars, I'm not sure that's improvement.
Mm-hmm. Right. Or more coverage of the Kardashians.
There's this little word in the background somewhere that's kind of gotten lost. It's called journalism. I'd like to see that brought forward a little more.
Mm-hmm.
That is the only thing that has lasting value.
Mm-hmm. Well, but in fairness, good journalism is tough. It takes feet on the ground. It takes money. It takes employees. It takes sharp people. It's easier to send a cameraman to a fire.
Well, and they do a lot of that.
Right.
And the industry has changed so much now, and I guess all stations are doing it. They've got the combination reporter camera people.
Mm-hmm.
They shoot their own stuff. A lot of them edit their own stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not necessarily bad. It's just tightening the financial grip on the place.
Sure.
Because, in the day, television stations made so much money that the truck would back up in the back lot every morning and unload the money, but it's not that way anymore.
Right. Newspapers as well.
Absolutely. Well, we see them dying.
Right.
So it's a competitive thing out there, and I understand that.
Mm-hmm. So how will Channel 8 be different at
Well,
5:30?
I don't know. I don't know to what extent my influence will spread. I hope
Mm-hmm.
I hope it's a positive spread,
Mm-hmm.
and I will talk with reporters about things they say or how they say them. I think they don't mind if I do that. If
Mm-hmm.
someone minds, I'll leave them alone. Not everybody wants to be corrected.
Mm-hmm. Tell me how many do.
Right. But I think many of these people will accept it. And when somebody shows you something that you're saying wrong or doing wrong, and it happens to me too, you may not like it, but you'll change it
Mm-hmm.
because you don't want to keep doing it wrong. They're just little things, Recently we've had this heat spell, and all the reporters and meteorologists and everybody say it's 103 degrees. No, it's 103 degrees. That little and in it doesn't belong.
Sure.
You wouldn't say it's 97 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
So when you go over 100, what changes?
Mm-hmm.
No, they're just little things. It's a hobby.
Well, but also it sounds as if you're talking about stories and coverage and emphasis during that half hour.
Right.
So how much influence can you have?
I don't know. We'll find out.
Well, your start date is right around the corner
August
now.
1st. Right. Because of the no-compete, I can't do anything. Just an aside. Years ago, there was a bad fire down in Dinwiddie County, woods fire, forest fire, whatever. And there was so much smoke, it closed down Interstate 85.
Mm-hmm.
The cars were lined up for, I don't know how far. Nobody could move. Sent a reporter down to cover it. Reporter came back with some footage of the smoldering fire, interviews with a couple of firemen, explained to us how many feet of line was laid to fight the fire and so forth, and totally ignored these thousands of people sitting there in the smoke on Interstate. Did not, yes, the story was the fire, but the story wasn't the fire. The story was its effect on people.
Absolutely.
And when something happens that has no effect on people, it's not much of a story usually.
Mm-hmm. The smoldering woods
It's the reason
fire
I never got into black holes. I don't understand them, but as far as I can tell, that's not going to affect me today. I don't know.
The day's early, but
whatever the event is, what was the effect on people? It's a difference in a house fire of a vacant building and an occupied building.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people don't pick up. If the flames are better on the vacant building, that'll get the headline as opposed to the 5 people who were driven out.
Right.
It's just thinking about what we're doing that I'm concerned about.
Well, good. We wish you well.
Thank you.
We will be watching, and I hope you'll be writing about some of this in Boomer for us. We don't pay a lot, as you've already pointed out, Gene. Thank you. Thank you so much, Gene. Best of luck to you, and we're looking forward to it.
All right. Thank you, Ray.
Thank you.